We are the Guinea Pig Collective. All will be assimilated. Resistance is futile.
Welcome back as we are hanging out with Dark Helmet, the Lord of the Sci-Fi and the new Transformers Pig, as he has taken over for Jumper. Of course, you know what that means. Today is the day that he's going to be reviewing another Transformers figure with us, right, Helmet? And here we go. From Studio Series, Transformers Game Edition, Transformers War for Cybertron, we have Sideswipe. Another one that had in the back for a little bit, waiting to get this review. With all the problems that we've had here at the Collective, it has taken some time to get back into action, but here we go with a review of this figure. Got this one fairly cheap. It was actually discounted quite a bit. I think it was even knocked down to like $17 from the $25 price point. That was at Target. Now, granted, that was a while ago. Whether or not you can still find this one at Target for that price, it's a possibility. I would definitely keep your eyes out. But let's go ahead and get this one out of the package and take a look at it. And here we go with Sideswipe right out of the packaging. I do not like the way the bottom of these legs look. They look cheap. And here's the thing, there are absolutely no rockers in this. None. I mean, you got a little bit of pivot right there, part of transformation, no rock whatsoever. So you're limited in the possibility you can perform on this thing. He's got a decent knee joint, he's got a turn right there, and he's got a little bit of movement up here at the hip, a decent amount of kick out, and almost full fan dams on this guy as well. That's not bad. It does have a little bit of waist turn. The kiblets in the back kind of get in the way, so you gotta kind of move it a little bit. But he does have a decent waist turn. The arms move up a fair amount. Stops right here because of this piece. Don't like that. The turn ain't bad. Does have bicep cut. Got a decent movement right there. No turn in hands whatsoever. Part of transformation. They didn't put anything in there. That's another miss right there. Head movement. A little bit of tilting and rocking. No really looking up. There's another huge miss already. I just don't understand how they're absolutely flubbing it so much on some of these Gamer Edition toys. This is horrible. As far as posability, you just don't realize how much not having rockers on the figure absolutely limits what you could do with it as far as posability. There is really not a lot you can do with this guy, because if you try to flare his legs way out, since they don't rock or anything, he's unbalanced. I mean, it's just like, this is just terrible. Like, why would they even put out a modern toy with absolutely no rocks whatsoever in it? Ugh, shit, Hasbro. Much like some of the other War for Cybertron ones, you can actually port the arm unit off and put the gun directly on, like you've seen in the video game. That's pretty cool, but yeah, trying to get this thing into a decent looking pose, pretty horrible. They also had this piece included in there as extra fluff, and I think this is just part of the car mode. Once again, just throwing that in there, because I'm pretty sure that this is not going to get in the way of transformation. Just throw it in there as extra fluff. I don't know. Or maybe this just ports on. It's more of a former, like a parts former. I don't know. Let's see what other poses we can possibly get him in before we get him transformed. My number one gripe that newer figures can't get into a kneeling position. When this one doesn't even come close to even getting into a real kneeling position. This looks like absolute shit. Everything, the way that it's done on this, it just does not fucking work. This is just piss poor engineering on the part of Hasbro. This is just junk. Another one, just like the Starscream Gamer Edition, I'm glad that this was on discount, because full price, this would absolutely have gone right back to the store, no questions asked. Another thing I want to mention as I've been getting this thing, these two side pieces, they just keep popping back off. They don't stay ported on very well at all. So the minute you start moving these things around, these keep popping loose. Like, just absolute shit, Hasbro. So after a very hot minute, I finally got this thing transformed into his Cybertronian car mode. And I gotta be honest, I am not overly impressed with this thing. A lot of these pieces just don't port in properly, so you get these get these weird gaps in here. This shit just will not snap together the way it should. Like a lot of this other stuff, you can finally get it snapped in, but it's really just crappily designed. This is absolute trash. The extra piece does wind up sitting on a little port and it snaps down in place, so I think it will get in the way of transformation at the end. Once again, just really fucking lazy engineering on this thing. You can take his gun. There's a few spots where you can kind of port it onto the... It should port onto the side here. Let's see if it actually does. No, it is not doing it, and it's supposed to port in the top, and then it can port there. So you can kind of get his weapon port at the top. Overall, this is really it's just mediocre. The car form up in the front doesn't look horrible. When you start seeing all the gaps where things didn't port together, that looks like shit. Get all kinds of just gaps and everything. You get this weird back end like this. It's just lazy. Overall, lazy. If you guys see this one out in the wild, this is another one I can't recommend. I think this is just so fucking poorly done. Lack of articulation in this thing all the way around. The mold kind of looks like Sideswipe from the game, but beyond that, that's where you start losing it. I mean, this car form, such a pain in the ass to transform. It shouldn't be that fucking difficult. Anyway, guys, the best I'm going to give this one, I'm going to give this one a 5 out of 10. This is not worth the time if you're trying to collect these things. It's just piss poor. Hasbro, you suck. And anyway, guys, that is all we have on this one. What did you think of our assessment of this figure? You think we were spot on? You think we were harsh? Be sure to let Dark Helmet know what you thought about this one. Later, y'all.
The Transformers, more than meets the eye. The Transformers.